What have been some of the challenges, being out here at sea for so many consecutive days?
Honestly, the only thing challenging has been like mental challenges, like trying to manage my sleep, stuff like that.
So this was just part of one of many conversations I had with sailors last month when I was aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, an aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea. And it appears it just scratched the surface of the psychological toll of this deployment on this ship. U.S. officials told me that earlier this month, a sailor went overboard from the USS Abraham Lincoln. That sailor was rescued in about an hour and was medically evaluated and then was brought off the ship. But this incident is now added to a growing list of concerns about the crew during this extended deployment for the Iran war. The sailor jumped off wearing a life vest, I'm told, and the Navy is viewing this as a mental health incident. But it also emphasizes that man overboard incidents like that are not unique to this carrier. The carrier has been out at sea on this deployment since last November, months before the war began in February. The deployment was expected to end in May. Their return date is still unknown, and many sailors are missing those big life events back home.
What kind of toll does that take on you personally?
It's tough. I said I had my first kid born in February, so
wow.
Very excited to get home, meet her.
You've never met your daughter?
Nope.
So she was born right around when this conflict started.
Luckily, she was born February 6th, so I was able to get on FaceTime, watch the birth, talk to my wife before everything went down.
One sailor's wife told the Navy Times her husband had been overextended for months before he tried to jump overboard. The Times reports that he's now in medical hold, and she says he's terrified it'll cost him his 13-year career. In a separate incident, a sailor pulled a shipmate back from the rail before the sailor could go overboard.
The fact that it's happening during this deployment is not surprising, but I hate to say this, it's something that you might expect. You always try to lead turn these kinds of things.
A U.S. official told me that the Navy's acting secretary met with sailors' families last week to hear their concerns directly. In a statement to CNN, the Navy said, quote, "We have not observed an increase in suicidal ideations or attempts aboard the ship. We take every service member's well-being seriously and have religious, medical, and mental health professionals available to assess and address concerns as they arise." The Navy says the carrier has access to counselors, chaplains, medical professionals, and even a therapy dog I met named Captain Fathom. With about 5,000 sailors and Marines on board, the USS Lincoln has set a record at sea with the most consecutive days without regular port visits. The experience is very different for the enlisted sailors versus the officers on board, and nearly 50% of those on board are mid-20s and younger. Senator Richard Blumenthal is one of several lawmakers demanding answers about conditions aboard this aircraft carrier. An official told me that the USS George Washington is on its way to relieve the USS Abraham Lincoln, though couldn't provide specific timelines for when the rotation happens.